What's up, Buff Nation? YouTube fam. Ran across some information on Google. I just couldn't get past Shedeur dropping to the 5th round. I was still trying to make sense of this. And something came into my mind about an agent. And I said, let me see if Shedeur had an agent. Who was representing Shedeur? Because if you think about it, you really didn't see anyone. You didn't see that kind of representation that you normally see with those type of players that's going high in the draft. Now, back in the day, any day of the week, them guys would have had an agent by now. Matter of fact, when they know they were going high, they would have grabbed an agent and went forward with the draft and the negotiation process shortly thereafter. But in this case, there's a new growing trend in the league where these high draft choices are representing themselves. Lamar Jackson, I'm not sure if he was the first, but Lamar Jackson, Heisman Trophy winner, his mom acts as not necessarily an agent, but as an advisor. Lamar represents himself. And this is not uncommon. This is starting to happen more and more. I think Caleb Williams, another Heisman Trophy winner, father is acting as his agent. And they're using an actual NFL PA certified agent as an advisor to him in the negotiations process. But Caleb Williams' father is the primary point of contact. Let's take a look at an article I want to share with you. An article written by Sportico. And let's read the caption. 2022 Heisman Trophy winner Caleb Williams may be the league's first #1 draft pick without formally being repped by a certified agent. Let's get into the article. Caleb Williams will almost certainly be the first name called when the Chicago Bears open the NFL draft with the first pick on Thursday night. But when he gets up to hug his family and friends, the University of Southern California quarterback won't be flanked by some big-time NFL agent. You won't find deal makers like David Mulugeta or Jimmy Sexton, who stood tall beside top pick Bryce Young last year. That's because Williams plans to enter his professional career with his own representation team led by his father, Carl. The 2022 Heisman Trophy winner is slated to be the league's first #1 draft pick to be selected without formally being repped by a certified agent. As stated earlier, remember when I told you that Caleb Williams maybe wasn't perhaps the first player to do this? I found an article in Google. Lamar Jackson, let's read it together, does not have a traditional agent to represent him in contract negotiations. He manages his own affairs. However, he does have a manager who is also his mother, Felicia Jones. Here's a more detailed look. Self-representation. Jackson has consistently chosen to negotiate his own contracts and handle his business affairs. Mother is manager, Felicia Jones. Jackson's mother serves as his manager, providing advice and guidance. No agent fee. By not having an agent, Jackson avoids the standard 3% agent fee, which could have been a significant amount on his large contract. Potential for an increased pay. While Jackson's decisions to represent himself has allowed him to negotiate a lucrative contract, some analysts have suggested that an agent might have been able to secure even better terms. Success in negotiations. Jackson's decision to represent himself has been successful, leading to a record-setting contract with the Baltimore Ravens. Here are a few things that unnamed sources in the NFL had to say about Shedeur Sanders. As stated here, I'm not going to go line by line. I'm just going to highlight the bold points. Arm strength and mobility. Pre-draft process concerns. Scarcity of teams needing a quarterback. Now, it's 32 teams in the NFL. Of the 32 teams, how many was below 500? Just think about that as you read this article. If you want to pause it, I'm not gonna, for sake of time, I'm trying to buzz through this. But think about it. When you pause this and read this line by line, think about that. Scarcity of teams. I know there was at least 8 teams under 500, and you got to have a quarterback there in waiting, especially if you got someone that's a veteran of age. Interviews and self-awareness. And here's my favorite here. Perceived lack of tiers over others. Now let's read that one together. Some analysts believe that Sanders may not have been considered a significant step above other quarterback prospects in this draft. Teams may have felt that other quarterbacks with similar strengths and weaknesses were just as capable of being future starters. Now, they're trying to say that people above him or that got picked in the draft, there was not much gap in between them and Shedeur, but they could be future starters for a team. Now that's contradictory right there within itself, but nonetheless, he was drafted. He's in Cleveland now. Now Cleveland also took Dylan Gabriel out of Oregon, former Oklahoma quarterback. Dylan Gabriel. So they're going to have these two guys go head to head. Somebody is going to watch somebody play next year. That's no doubt about that. Barring unforeseen circumstances, someone is going to be watching the other one play. I like Shedeur's chances. Dylan Gabriel is a good quarterback. He's a lefty. You got a lefty and a righty. Dylan is solid. I don't have anything against him. They're going to compete for the position, which is exactly what you want. You see Shedeur is getting involved in the community, which is exactly what he needs to do. I'm all for that. So as we watch this process unfold, I want you to think about what the league is trying to say. I want to show you something else that is trending in the NFL. Inquiry minds want to know. Here's another trend that's been happening lately in college football and in the NFL. If you look at the last 10 years of this chart right here, of this Heisman Trophy winners, in the last 10 years, from 2014 to 2023, and you can count this year as well, 2024. You can say the last 11 years. It would have been definitely in the last 10, you had 5 quarterbacks: Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Cam Ward back to back. Maybe too many backs, but you know where I'm going. This is a trend. This is also another trend. Now think if you put a Shedeur Sanders in that mix going high in the first round, what kind of foundation, what kind of groundwork is being laid for the future of not just college football, but the NFL at that position? This is another thing that some people may have been looking at or may have been considering. First, you have not only these guys are going high in the draft, they're also representing themselves. And now that they're representing themselves, these guys are, look at that. I mean, come on now. Lamar Jackson, Kyler Murray, Bryce Young, Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Cam Ward, and I think arguably Shedeur could have easily gone in the first round. But I think the bigger concern for the league is not only are these type of quarterbacks are becoming premier in college football and also going high in the draft, they're representing themselves. They want to hold on as much as they want to hold on to as much of the bag as they possibly can. Now factor in Coach Prime Deion Sanders and his son Shedeur, who was quarterback, could have easily been a high draft pick. he's not necessarily representing his son as his agent, but he's an advisor, like most parents are doing now. And I think the lead had some very real concerns about that. And that's why he went as low as he did in the draft. Because if he goes, 2, 3, or 4, I mean, you still got another quarterback in that mix. And so, yeah, they were looking at that. But like I say, I don't normally like playing the R word. That's not my game. I don't like that. Because if you take it the wrong way, you can fall into a victimhood mentality. And that's not who I am. And that's definitely what I'm not about. So I'm going to leave you with that. I want you all to have a blessed day. And subscribe. Again, subscribe. If you think, what I've shared with you is something you didn't know or something you just learned, subscribe. I'm going to be putting out more content like this. Just, hey, give your boy a subscribe. And also like, share, and comment. Let me know what you think. You all have a blessed day. I'm out.